Hey y'all, it's your girl Barbie J here. Welcome to my channel, June BLC. Hey there everybody, it's your girl Barbie J here with the recap and review of Tyler Perry's comedy drama Sisters, Season 8, Episode 6, Web of Deceit. And I am so happy I finally got my voice back a little bit. It's not all the way back, it's like about 95%. Y'all can still hear it in me that it's not clear, but it's enough to finally do this review. And it is so late. I am so upset. I'm behind in my Equalizer reviews by 2 weeks. It's just so much going on. So I'm trying to play catch up. So please forgive me, y'all. I missed you guys. Anyway, let's start with this episode. So the first scene that we're going to touch upon is Andy, Jordan, and Penelope in the penthouse. Okay, y'all, this scene made no freaking sense whatsoever. Seems to me that the only reason Penelope is there is because she's jealous that Gary was still in love with Andy. Let's be real. That's what it seems like to me. Penelope accused Andy of everything that Gary did. She took not one bit of responsibility for her own actions. And now all of a sudden, since Andy was going to marry Gary, in Penelope's little brain, she has concocted this image that Andy was only telling her these things about Gary to create a wedge between her and the child. What is it? The father of her child, so that she could have him for herself. First of all, he was your fiance. You chose him after you saw everything he did and how he was. You still chose him, and then you have the nerve to throw up that whole thing with the panties in the penthouse. She caught him sniffing it. You never said nothing to Andy about it, but when you confronted Gary about it and he pushed you up against the elevator wall, you still didn't walk away like a numbskull. You stayed there with him. You were the idiot. They told you from the beginning. And Penelope, I think, is just too mad at herself. You know what I mean? She has to be mad at herself for this. She knew he was living a double life. All of this stuff she had to tell Andy, and Andy's finding out. Now, all of a sudden, Andy was working this together with Gary, where everything Andy did was to protect her. That's why she was getting out. Hello. But you see, this writing, I'm sorry, the writing is off. Meanwhile, Jordan's weak behind is acting as if he doesn't remember Andy's message that she was marrying Gary to protect him. She told him that she doesn't love Gary and that she loves him and that this wedding doesn't change anything. And she told him the day of her wedding. And he was like, let's run away and stuff. And she's like, no, you have to stay. He didn't even care about his political career at that time. He just wanted to leave with her. Now, all of a sudden, his whole political career is so important to him. But anyway, even during that time, I didn't like how Andy told him she felt that everything was her fault. And this was the price she had to pay for causing problems for him and his sister Penelope. And this she told him to his face at the wedding. So now all of a sudden he doesn't remember all of this. But one of my favorite scenes at the penthouse is like when what was it, Andy was ready to throw hands with Penelope because she tried to, come at her, and she said the first one was free, and she started taking off her earrings like, we ain't doing this again. I'm about to set it off. And all of a sudden Jordan trying to stop them. But then Penelope could talk nasty to Andy. But when Andy came back at her with facts, she wasn't being nasty. She gave her facts that I stood up for you. I told you not to do this and do that and do the other. And then Jordan gonna tell her, don't talk to my sister like that. And she's like, thank you, brother. I said, now, that sounds stupid. That sounds stupid because you sit there and let your sister say anything she wants to Andy, and that wasn't cool, And then Andy wants to talk to him alone, and he tells Penelope to leave, and she's like, you're not going to listen to her, are you? You're not going to hear that. And I don't like the fact that she tells the truth about everything, and they deny, they don't believe her. They don't want to believe anything she says. And I think that's Jordan just being pressured by his sister. That's why I'm calling him weak. Yeah, I'm calling him weak because she's like, Jordan, you know better. And all of a sudden he's like, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. Think about it. Just so I get mad at her friends too. Think about it. Why do you think Andy would marry Gary unless she was being blackmailed or bribed, or something? I mean, that's the only reason you would do it. Y'all know how devious he is. But no. And then Jordan tried to get upset with her about that whole panty thing. She didn't know nothing about it. She was out there on the couch with you. You know, why does she have to remind y'all? Y'all supposed to be two intelligent people. Sister's supposed to be so bright. He's running for a political office and all this stuff. Andy's an attorney, but y'all the only ones. Y'all two don't know nothing. I'm so tired of Jordan and Penelope, and she's better off without them in her life. And I wish they would have let them fight so Andy could have whipped Penelope's behind, because I know the way she's feeling right now, she's ready to go there with it. Then we have the scene with Karen and Pam and Miss Marie and Vanessa and Trey. They were at the salon, all of that roots to riches, wreck your edges and stuff. And then, in the middle of the Miss Marie coming and going off on everybody, Trey says that he has to leave to deliver, his packages. And when he leaves and kiss Pam, Miss Marie said, "Is this why you slacking off? Is he the reason why you slacking off and not paying attention?" I was like, "Oh, Miss Marie was not playing." But Vanessa gets busted, as we know, and after lying and going back and forth with Miss Marie, Karen ends up seeing and feeling the razor stubble, which is on Vanessa's scalp or something like that. And Vanessa's like, "Get away from me, get away from me." But the thing is, y'all, I feel Karen should have checked for that at the beginning. When Vanessa first came in there and accused them, that's the first thing she should have said. "Let me see how this happened," and she should have checked for it. These people been in here about a half an hour screaming roots of riches and trying to ruin your business, and you sitting there doing nothing. Miss Marie shouldn't have had to come in there. You and Pam, with all the mouth y'all have and all the back talk y'all have and all the toughness y'all have, why y'all didn't check that girl and have that taken care of from the beginning? So I thought that scene was a wasteful one too. And even though people were saying Trey slid out, no, he didn't slid out with those girls. He left before those girls. Those girls left after Vanessa admitted, talking about come you can't get mad at me for wanting to come up quick or something. You trying to ruin another sister's business, another black person's business. Yes, you can be mad at you. You're trifling. I would be suing you too, especially if it's on social media and it affects my business. I will be. But then Miss Marie got on their two cases and told them about themselves, Karen and Pam. Miss Marie let them know. And she was right with some of this stuff. How do y'all let it get like this? What kind of business women are y'all? Y'all can't handle the crowd like that. That made no sense whatsoever. She told them they better have that business plan to her by the end of the week, and that she's gonna have her people checked into to see what kind of ingredients Pam is using in there. Pam talking about, "I don't know if it would do that." How do you don't know, Pam? You could say it's not your product that did it, but you don't know. It made no sense. Oh, Lord Jesus. And that's what Miss Marie said. She might have been scamming, but let's make sure that nobody else has a reason to come in and say that. So that made sense. Now over to the steam plant with Danny and Sabrina, Tony and Rich. I tell you, this scene got on my last nerve. It was a waste of time. Rich is sitting there in his feelings because Sabrina was having lunch with Danny. And he doesn't believe Sabrina's truthful explanation. So you basically calling her a liar. You're basically calling her a liar. So what kind of relationship is this? Then you try to blow up her personal business, talking about how she wanted his attention or whatever when she was begging for his sperm. She didn't beg for your sperm, and then she said she went to got somebody else's sperm, and you got mad and went running in there to stop it. So, dude, she moved on. You need to let it go. And that's not the place to say it, because they're in the steam plant. Everybody's talking over the next person, going back and forth. They all loud. All the patrons in the restaurant are looking like, what in the world is going on over there? Sabrina has to tell everybody to calm down. Hello, we're too loud. We got to stop screaming over each other. It was messy. And I'm sorry, guys, but y'all ain't the great guys that they talk about. Y'all was childish. Because then we have Tony's thinking Danny needed Sabrina's permission or whatever to take the job, or to go through that training and stuff. And he want to know what Sabrina told or was told by Danny. And Danny's like, "I'm right here. You asked me." You know what I mean? And then when Tony kept patting Danny's arm and telling her to stay out of Rich and Sabrina's business when they were going back and forth, and Danny's like, "Stop that." And she's pointing at him, telling him, "Don't tell me what to do. Stop telling me what to do." I was just like, come on. They were acting so immature, and their actions were calling these women liars. I don't care if you didn't use the word, your actions were saying, "I don't believe you." And Rich was strongly saying it. And the fact that Sabrina had to try so hard to get him to pay attention and believe her, I would have walked away from his behind. I'm sorry, it wasn't worth it. But Sabrina and Danny, not Sabrina and Danny, I'm sorry. Sabrina and Rich finally made up. Um, Sabrina, having to be the mature one, and then Rich admitting that he was probably in his feelings and all this. I said, this is ridiculous. And then Tony shows up at the job because Danny leaves and gets a ride share and goes and leaves. Then he shows up at the job trying to call himself make up to her, but not really making up to her, saying, I don't want to fight. She said, I don't want to fight with you either, but she had to keep explaining to him when it comes to my autonomy, because he said something about her maturity level, something he called her something, and she referred it back to his kids and his ex-wife. And I said, ooh, and he said that was a low belt. She said, that's how this all started. I was trying to get below your belt, and you didn't want that. You wanted this, you wanted that, and you wanted everything else. And that's how all this started. And so they going back and forth, and the other employees are watching in the airport. And I said, see, this is getting messy. And they kind of sort of made up too. They made up, but with everybody watching. Because, that's what Danny said, something about, when it comes to me, think of triple D's, like these girls. She looking at her breasts like these girls, triple D's. Don't decide for Danny. I said, oh my goodness, that was funny. He's like, how do you make that sexy yet forceful or something, he said. But anyway, everybody's watching. And now, like somebody wrote in my comment section, if she moves up now, they're going to think she slept her way to the top, because they saw how he's always inappropriately up on her and doing things at work. And you heard Danny tell Sabrina that they be having sex 2 and 3 times a day. And she's like, how? And y'all at work? And they was like, well, yeah, we work together. That's inappropriate. He is poor management material. And if that's what he got learned from that training class, then he need to go back and take it again. That's all I'm saying, y'all. Then there's the cute little scene with Zach bringing Michael home from school and asks him what snack he wants. And he gives him these different options. And Michael says nuggets. And he's like, did you just say nuggets? Did you just say nuggets? And he said, say it again. He said nuggets. He said, say it again. He said nuggets. So he said about 3 or 4 times. Zach is happy. He's swinging him around, holding him and hugging him and saying, we got to call Mama Tima, and all this stuff. So that was a cute scene. Then the last scene of the episode, which is the law firm with Fatima, Hayden, and Robin. Hayden is continuously being a jerk. He drops all of Andy's case files from the last quarter onto the salad that Fatima was eating. Just being a total jerk. I mean, total. Then asking her to check for discrepancies. And Fatima's like, I worked on all of these, so she knows them backwards and forwards. She said there are no discrepancies. But Hayden continues to be an a-hole like he is. So she got annoyed with him. So she ended up going to Robin's office and telling Robin what is going on with Hayden. And he's like, such as, and she said how he's smearing Andy's name and reputation at the firm. And he asked her, what was he saying? And he said, I wasn't aware of this. And then she said, oh, yeah, he's been torturing us since you've been gone. Andy and I get tortured by him all the time. He said, with what such things? She started telling all the different things that he was doing and saying. And so he was like, wow, you gave me an earful. He said, I didn't realize this all was happening while I was away. So he said he will talk with Hayden, but he did remind her that he is still her acting manager. And Fatima is very upset. She's like, seriously? He said, yeah, he needs his employees to get along and everything. So she's like, fine, okay, I'll play nice. And then she's about to leave and ask him one more question, which is, has he found any information to help take the heat off of Andy or something like that with this whole stabbing Gary thing? And he said, matter of fact, I did. And then he shows her the pictures of her on the ground with, seeing Gary and her being pushed by his security and all that stuff. And she's like, what are you doing with these? And he said, a better question is, why were you there being pushed on the ground by Gary's security right before he gets stabbed? And I was like, uh-oh, and it ended like that. So y'all let me know what y'all thought about it. But the truth is, we were all trying to figure out how they got those pictures. And we do know that Jordan was following Gary's people as well. He said that's how he found out where the wedding was being held. So maybe he took those pictures. Who knows? Anyway, those are questions that we hope will all be answered in this season sometime real soon. Anywho, y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all thought about this episode, and I will see you all in the next video. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Subscribe, like, comment, and share, because sharing is caring. It's your girl Barbie J saying peace.